Logical day, everyone. Hello, how is everyone? And how were your tests in the previous week? Let's see what we have here today in our Indian Express, 12th August. The first editorial, that is withholding laurels. With laurels, I can give you one more idiom, so to say, rather two more. So, one is to bring home the laurels. So, laurels are your achievements. And second is to rest on your laurels. To rest on your laurels का मतलब होता है achievements तो है लेकिन बहुत पहले की हैं. So you're resting. Recently में कुछ भी नहीं achieve किया है. So you're resting on your laurels जो कि नहीं होना चाहिए. You should come up with new things and you should come up with more achievements. So withholding laurels, अब देखते हैं अभी यहाँ पे laurel क्या है. So every year on September 26th, the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, that is CSIR, observes its Foundation Day by recognizing the works of scientists below the age of 45. Below the age of 45. The announcement of the award, instituted in the name of the Council's founder director, Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar, has been a keenly awaited event in the scientific community's calendar since 1958. But last year, the CSIR's Foundation Day went by without the centerpiece event. The list of awardees was reportedly decided but not announced. The awardees, मतलब जिन्हें award मिलना था, उनकी list decide की गई थी पर announce नहीं की गई. A day later, Science and Technology Minister Jitendra Singh said that the government had decided to withhold the Bhatnagar Awards as a part of a rationalization endeavor. Rationalization का मतलब होता है कि लॉजिक है या नहीं है इसमें अवार्ड्स देने में. That is the rationalization part of it. Now, this year too, there is no sign that the CSIR is drawing up a list of Bhatnagar laureates. The government is reportedly working on a new structure of science awards. Reportedly, उसे दो बार use किया ये word reportedly, मतलब it is not for sure. It is, of course, well within its remit to design the criteria for recognizing talent. Well within its remit का मतलब होता है कि ठीक है, उसका हक है, उसके पास title है. It is like it has a right to redesign the criteria for recognizing talent. But why constrict CSIR's autonomy and deprive the mid career scholars, many of whom may have resisted the temptation to work overseas, of the public recognition that, by all accounts, has spurred many young minds to become more creative and take on difficult challenges? ठीक है, यहाँ पे आ जाता है ऑथर का क्वेश्चन जब वो बोलते हैं कि देखो गवर्नमेंट के पास हक तो है डिजाइन करने के लिए क्राइटेरिया को रीडिजाइन करने के लिए ऑन व्हाट बेसिस शुड अ पर्सन बी गिवन दैट अवार्ड फाइन but then the author questions that why is the CSIR's autonomy being constricted यानी उसको लिमिट कर देते हैं उसे रोक लगा देते हैं ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है तो CSIR का अगर मर्जी है तो वो भटनागर अवार्ड्स दे सकते हैं right? But then, because there would be many scholars, according to the author, it is depriving the mid-career scholars. क्योंकि उससे पहले ही एज बता दी थी कि below the age of 45 होना चाहिए, ठीक है? तो 45 से पहले लोग जब ये scientists और ये when they come up with the new things, no, they would be going into research and all, right? And then maybe this is what the author said that they resisted the temptation to work overseas. ये भी हो सकता है ना, may have. This is what the author has assumed कि हो सकता है कि उन्होंने ऐसा किया हो. If I talk about the inference or the conclusion इसमें नहीं होगा because ये already एक may have के साथ है assumption वाली sentence वाला sentence है, right? So फिर inference हम क्या कर सकते हैं कि there must be uh, there might be people who would not go for the overseas job. This is what we can understand. This is what we can conclude also. अगर हमें sentence change करेंगे तो वो conclusion भी हो जाएगा. ठीक है. Otherwise, अब inference क्या होगा कि there are many scholars, research scientists who are lured by the ओवरसीज जॉब्स में भी जॉब्स होता है उनका हो सकता है फैसिलिटीज आर प्रोवाइडेड देयर ओवर इन द ओवरसीज दैट मीन्स इन द अदर कंट्रीज फैसिलिटीज आर प्रोवाइडेड so that they can come up with better research work and all. So all this we can understood. We can understand. Sorry, it is understood or we can understand. So this has spurred many young minds to become more creative and take on difficult challenges. तो जिन्होंने इतना दे दिया है इसमें साइंस के फील्ड में that they are not going abroad or they are not doing anything else, they are only totally going into research, and then they should be awarded. That is what the author's point is. Here it is decided but not announced, well within its limit to reach the design criteria. But by all accounts, it has spurred many young minds to become more creative and take on the difficult challenges. So why should the government do such a thing? Now, the list of Bhatnagar awardees comprises some of the pioneering figures of Indian science. Vikram Sarabhai, Madhav Gadgil, Ari Mishilkar, Ashish Datta, Ashok Jhunjhunwala, Raja Ramanna, Homi Setna, and CNR Rao. Of course, recognizing talent earlier is fraught with subjectivity. ठीक है, फ्रॉड विद सब्जेक्टिविटी का मतलब होता है फुल ऑफ सब्जेक्टिविटी, अपनी मर्जी से आता है वो कि नहीं मुझे लगता है कि ये अच्छा काम करेगा, मुझे लगता है कि ये आगे अच्छा रिसर्च कर पाएगा, ही इज गोइंग टू गेट समथिंग, ऐसा सोच के वो सब्जेक्टिव हो जाता है. एंड देर इज स्कोप फॉर रिफॉर्म इन सिलेक्शन प्रोसेस, ये भी कर सकते हैं. दिस इज द ऑथर्स पॉइंट ऑल्सो देन. बट पुटिंग द प्रेस्टिजियस अवार्ड ऑन होल्ड without a convincing explanation does more good than harm. So research involves painstaking work that can stretch over years, even decades. ये हुआ उसका reasoning. This is the reasoning part. Here he has given the point. Right. So a researcher has to regularly contend with funding delays and vexing bureaucratic inference. ये researcher है, उसको funds का problem होगा definitely. वो कहीं ऐसे इतना जॉब नहीं कर दे है ना, फंडिंग मिलेगा किसी कंपनी में तो उसी के पास आएगा. And vex is irritated, bureaucratic interference, right? So that irritates. Now, the uncertainty of the Bhatnagar Awards will be dispiriting to those who work under such conditions, especially because last year the government discontinued nearly 300 awards and fellowships. तो fellowships भी नहीं दिए, उनको पैसा और funds पे problem होगा. Dispiriting, as I said, is a word that you did in the recent mock test also, where you got the word like perfunctory. हाँ. So dispiriting है without putting in any life. Just for the sake of doing, वो हो जाता है dispirited. So especially because last year the government discontinued nearly so many fellowships. Such disincentives could result in the country losing out on promising talent. Result in the country losing out on promising talent मतलब उसके जो अच्छे लोग हैं, अच्छा talent है, वो भी खत्म हो जाएगा. बोले awards तो मिल नहीं रहे, तो why should they stay here and work in this manner where they are crying for the funds also. And so the government has repeatedly underlined its desire to make India a force to reckon with in the knowledge economy and arrest the brain drain. Arrest the brain drain का मतलब होता है जो ब्रेन इंडिया से बाहर जाती है तो वो ड्रेन कहते हैं. तो ब्रेन ड्रेन होता है तो उसको अरेस्ट करना मतलब उसे रोक देना. So arrest has many other meanings also, no? Right. So arresting gaze हो सकता है कि एक टक ऐसी निगाह से देखना कि the way the person is like mesmerized. So arresting, bound. So last year, while inaugurating the first Center State Science Conclave, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that the country has not celebrated the work of scientists as much as it should have done. So the government's attitude towards the premier award for young scientists does great disservice to the PM's vision. It should announce a list of Bhatnagar laureates this year. इस साल तो उन्हें करना ही चाहिए. This is what the author says. Here. So here we have the main points. Recognizing talent could be a subjective. There is scope for reform in the selection process, and without a convincing explanation, it does more harm than good. ठीक है? And the last sentence, it should announce a list of Bhatnagar laureates this year. So the main idea, uncertainty over Bhatnagar Awards, it hurts the morale of young scientists and it undermines the goal of becoming a knowledge economy. So third paragraph and second and first and second paragraph में दोनों ये चीजें थी. Here we have a few words today. So fraught is like full of, conclave is the meeting, the assembly. साइंटिस्ट की असेंबली होती है जब एक साथ मिलते हैं, कॉन्ग्रीगेशन बोल सकते हैं. Like laureates, award winners. Constrict is to limit or restrict. Spurred is to bring about, to evoke. To push or to evoke. Autonomy, you can understand we have the root word here, auto plus norm. Norm is name. Prestigious is like quite respected. Prestigious, respected. Dispiriting is something that is lacks the life, lacks the spirit or life. Right? Subjective is where the emotions are included. Subjectivity is including the emotions. Disincentives is something that is keeping them away. Rationalization is like being whether it is logical or no. And arrest is to stop. Right? So not very many difficult words, but then just a few जिसको नहीं आता है वो देखेंगे इसमें कि CON हो जाता है अपना एक वर्ड constrict और इसमें भी आ जाता है. तो you have CON, you have auto and you have norm. ठीक है, एक बार आपके पास प्रीफिक्स सब भी है, एक प्रीफिक्स DIS भी है. देखो डिसइंसेटिव, डिस्पिरिट ये हो जाता है. ठीक है, that's all. So that's all for today. Thank you and have a very logical week ahead.